Right, well, today there's a little bit of sun about, a lot of cloud, not very warm, so yeah, having a little short walk anyway. And I'm actually parked up near the Crossways Inn in Scole, near this, and we're going to be having a little walk out towards what was Thorpe, I think it was called now, Thorpe Parva, that's right. Yeah, it's a abandoned church there, a moated hall. I don't think we'll be able to get near the moated hall, that's private, but should be able to see the church. And yeah, just have a little walk down some footpaths. I think there's a milestone we can have a look at. We're going down a little bit of the old Roman road. Yeah, so a few little things to see. I don't think that'll be such a long video as the last one. So yeah, this first little bit, going down, I'm sort of walking up towards the Scole Inn. Most people have probably heard of the Scole Inn. And then going to turn off down the Bungay Road. And once I get to the footpath, I'll probably start filming there. I don't think I'll bother filming through the village, maybe this little first bit. But yeah, most of it is sort of through the village, not very interesting. A lot of modern houses. Yeah, so might be quite interesting. Yeah, so Scole in Old English means something like hut or shelter. And in Old Norse, similar words, sort of, I think it's sort of scarly or skelly, pronounced something like that. I'm sure there's any Icelandic people watching, they'll put me right on that. But that also means shelter or hut. So yeah, this part of the world could either be an Old English name or indeed a Norse name. So yeah, anyway, we'll get going. Yeah, so here's the Crossways. And just in the distance there, you can see the Scole Inn with its famous sign, 1655. Yeah, so that's brick, supposedly built in 1655, I think by a wool merchant from Norwich. Can't remember his name, but I'll put it on screen. Yeah, yeah, so you can see it's got some Dutch gables. Apparently this sign used to go right across the road. Yeah, so if you want to do this as a pub walk, you could. You've got a choice, either Scole Inn or the Crossways. Never actually been in that one, but I have been in the Crossways. Used to hold our motorcycle club I belonged to, used to have the meetings in there. It's now at the Billingford Horseshoes. Oh, got a load of ramblers up there, hope they aren't going my way. Yeah, so now on the Bungay Road, and the footpath is just along here. There's a bend, it's just right on a bend, so yeah, I'll probably pick that up there. Right, get near the sign. I can see the sign for the footpath. Oh yeah, another thing, Scole Inn is also known as the White Hart, and indeed on the 1904 OS map that is marked as the White Hart. So footpath is just on this corner, and we just sort of go on past Rose Farm. Yeah, so Scole was also recorded in the Domesday Book, recorded as Osmondeston. That name is supposed to derive from Old English for Osmond's enclosure or Osmond's farm, and strange enough, on Faden's map 1797, Scole is also shown as Osmondeston, although it's spelt differently with a U instead of an O. Yeah, the sun has gone in now, unfortunately. There's a few grey clouds about. Right. So if that's also a footpath that way, but we want to be going this way. Yeah, so the Thorpe Parva was once a medieval village. There's not a lot left of it now, just a part of a church tower, and obviously the old moated hall is still there, which is currently a farm. Yeah, so Thorpe in Old English means village or settlement, and Parva comes from the Latin meaning little, so it's little village basically. And yeah, sort of over in that direction you also have Thorpe Magna, Thorpe Abbots it's called now. It's also known as Thorpe Magna, and Magna in Latin is large, so that's large village. That's also been called Thorpe Cornwallis after the lords of the manor from 1546. The original name of Thorpe Abbots reappears in the 17th century. I can just see the remains of the church in the distance. So basically, this is the church is supposed to be at the southern end of the village, and just over centre screen over there you can see the gable end of a building, and you probably can't see it, but through the woods there is a hall. So all this area here was basically once the village of Thorpe Parva. Yeah, so that was yeah, like I say, mentioned in the Domesday Book. Recorded population of 4 households in 1086, and the village became deserted during the medieval period, with the hall and the church of St Mary's being the only surviving buildings. The parish became part of Scole in 1482, and the church was probably demolished sometime around 1540, and only the tower sort of survives, though apparently on aerial photos you can make out the rest of the building. I see as crop marks. Yes, the only reason the church survives, or what's left of the church, the only reason that survives is because it was converted into a dovecot for the hall. If not, that would have probably been all robbed out with the rest of the stonework. So it's basically round tower, so it's probably late Saxon, early medieval, and mostly flint with some medieval brick lining. Or in 1739, only one family lived in Thorpe Parva, which was probably the probably in the hall in the farm. Right, if you look across this way, straight across there, you can probably make out the sails and top of the windmill at Bellingford. Right across there. Yeah, so let's have a look and see what remains. I'm kind of half looking in this ploughed field at the same time to see if there's anything interesting. You never know what the plough's going to turn up. That wind is a little bit nippy today. Yeah, apparently there has been some finds in the area, sort of between here and the hall, which is sort of over that way. Mainly just some medieval pottery, glazed and unglazed. Yeah, that is about it. Yeah, so this is all that's left of St Mary's. Can make out some of the put log holes. Yeah, not much, as you can see. So in the Domesday Book, the Overlord in 1066 was Edric of Laxfield, which actually lived in Laxfield for a short while. Yes, nice little village, very nice pub called the Low House. Or I'm trying to think of the proper name for it. All the locals call it the Low House, but it's something like the King's Arms or King's Head, but nobody calls it that. Yeah, so Tenant-in-Chief in 1086 was Robert Mallet. Lord in 1086 was Hubert of Montcanissy. Morning. There's a footpath sign there. Carry on along this lane. which is also the footpath. Yeah, quite a breeze today as well. I don't know if that's getting picked up by the microphones, hopefully not. I have got my little foamy on there, or I forget what they're probably called, wind cheater or wind slayer, something like that. Yeah, get them off eBay for about £5, and I do actually seem to work quite well because I haven't got the wind suppression on in the settings. I'm solely relying on this little foam cover. Mr. Hare got his ears up. Oh, he's off. Yeah, they can really shift, can't they? Oh dear, 2 spots of rain. Nice blue sky there. Not so good that way. Yeah, so we're getting 2 raindrops on the screen. Yeah, should be coming up to the other footpath pretty soon. Oh, here it is indeed. Is actually part of the Angles Way, this footpath. Yeah, and we have a little warning sign here. Can't see any cows. Yeah, you do have to be a bit careful with cows. They are rather large, and like that sign says, they've got calves, they can be aggressive. Yeah, so out there is the old hall, which is moated. I think the northeastern part is missing. Like I say, it's private, so we can't really get much of a closer look, and obviously that's a much later building than the medieval one. So, countryside code, you'd normally shut the gate behind you, but if it's shut, this one is open, so we'll leave it open. A little bit soft, and we have got some signage. There, that was a style if we were to need it. I think we just head straight across this field. Yeah, so this is only going to be it's only about 2 miles, I think, all the way round. Like I say, that would make a good pub walk. I think that's probably going to be a little bit early for that, by the time I get back to the van. If the pub was open, well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Right, we are on the corner, and barbed wire that has been covered over with some blue water pipe. so you don't catch anything essential. Yeah, I think we just nip through this gap here and across the field. I can assume we just follow the edge. Right, and coming up to another sign, which is sort of pointing us straight across this field, which yeah, well, seems a bit daft. We could go around the edge, but this is supposedly the official footpath, and it does sort of go off at an angle on the Norfolk County Council footpath map, so I think if it was really wet or crops are in the field, I think it would make more sense to go around the edge, but there we are. That is the designated route. Well, I think I can see the other post over there. Right, here we are, Angles Way. Probably starting to get quite a bit of traffic noise now. We are getting near to the A140. In fact, there's a crossing just here, goes over the bridge, goes over the road. There's supposed to be a toll house along here, but I don't think that is it. I thought the toll house was further up, because this was a toll road. There was actually a milestone along here somewhere. See if we can spot that. Yeah, I think the sign has been hit in the hedge. Oh, the Angles Way carries across the road there. We're actually going to be heading down into the village. Yep. Scole Common. Let's just have a little walk over the bridge, shall we? See how busy this road is and noisy. Well, not too bad today. Well, it's sort of mid-morning on a Tuesday, so they probably think I've got a speed camera. We'll slow them down. Right, so we've got a roundabout just down there. Let's go into this. Yeah. That's enough of that modern nonsense. Let's see if we can find this. See if we can find this milestone. Oh, didn't have to go far. There it is. 18th century milestone. Ipswich, 24 miles. Scole. We've got this side. Norwich, 19 miles. Scole. Looks like someone's been painting that anyway. Yeah, so that's a little different to the milestones that we saw on the Norwich Road, Thetford Norwich Road. Slightly different design, and also different to the ones on, oh, where was that? Old Buckingham, no, sorry, New Buckingham. Yeah, New Buckingham Road. We also looked at a milestone on there, or a couple. The missing one, which I found eventually after a lot of hedge diving. Yeah, if you want to have a look at that video. There's some house colour up here. I don't remember seeing anything on the Norfolk Heritage site about this, or any house in this position. I'll check again, but yeah, it's very nice. Some fascinating windows. That's for sale. Mostly dead by the look of them. Reasonably quiet considering the... Oh, here we are, look. What about this? Osmondeston Lodge. Someone's keeping the old name going. Right, so that's the school, which I think is still in use. It was built 1853. Once had a teacher's house attached, and enlarged in 1972, 1995 and 2005. Thankfully no children about, so I can happily film. Yeah, that's one thing that really annoys me when you see modern films on TV. People's faces fudged out. I can never see the point in that myself. You know, their faces aren't fuzzed out in real life, are they? So why fuzz them out on a on a film? Absolutely ridiculous. Some of the nonsense we have these days. Just see the church tower in the distance behind that tree. Can't see it from here, but there's some nice pargeting on that on that house. That's plaster work. Yeah, you probably need to see it in real life rather than on a video. So if you do come on this walk, have a little look at that. Some quite interesting work on there. I think there should be another little footpath which goes sort of around the back of the church, I think. If it's down here, Mill Lane. I didn't do a very detailed map, so not too sure. Possibly. Let's walk down to the church anyway. Yes, this is St Andrew's Church. May date to late Saxon. Majority of the church building originally dates to the around the 14th century. Yeah, had some Victorian restoration, which yeah, sort of Victorians like. Some things, their own architecture is really good, but some of the things that they did to the older buildings, not that great, I don't think, to me anyway. Should have been left alone. Yeah, so there's some restoration work done by the Victorians in 1874. This church was also subject to an arson attack in 1963. Year I was born, so doesn't do me. Honest gov. Yeah, restored in 1964. Yeah, I don't know exactly what was. Probably just roof timbers or something. It's all tiled roof on there now. This doesn't really do a lot for the aesthetics. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that that is actually medieval, isn't it? Really. At least no one's got to nick the lead off it. I did read something about the stained glass window, but I can't remember what it was. I'll put it in the put it on screen. Probably the best thing to do. Yeah, I think the footpath might actually be the other side of the church. However, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to carry straight on down here and back to the van. Well, hope you like this little video. It's probably a little bit shorter than normal. You may well be relieved. So, shall we have a code word to see if anyone made it to the end of the video? Yes, I think we should. Let's have code word Osmondston. That'll stick in your head then, and when everyone talks about Scole, you'll be able to come out with a little snippet, or maybe in a pub quiz, or other name for Scole. Yeah, code word Osmondston. We'll go with that. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, please subscribe. Getting a few more subscribers now, 1 or 2. I think it's up to about 50 at the moment. yeah, it'd be nice to see a few more and a few more views, but there we are. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I didn't mention, the war memorial over there. First World War with some Second World War additions.